Welcome back to the morning show on XL7 TV. It's time for This Week in Real Estate with Bob Zadora, but Bob Zadora is not available today, so Chris Nosari has decided that he will step in Bob's stead. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I would say that Bob got a whole lot better looking, but Bob's a pretty good looking guy. So, I did a loan for him one time, and my office girls were oogling over his military photo, I think, from when he was in the Marines and, in his 20s.
Yeah.
So sorry, Bob. I think he got worse looking.
Well, I know, Bob, you were on with Bob not too long ago, and I was laid up, not able to be here, and I'm glad that he asked you to come back because I have a few questions for you that weren't covered when you were here last time.
All right, good.
Question one, how long have you been here, and how long have you had Nosari Home Mortgage?
Ooh, so been here. So
Forever.
Born and raised, graduated high school here, came back when I was 24, so I started my company in 95. So what is that, going on 28 years?
Yeah. You and I came back about the same time. I came back in 95 as well.
Yep, that was a good year to come back.
That was a good year to come back. What was your deciding factor to come back?
Oh, I just love Mountain Home. So
my deciding factor was metal detectors in grade schools in Dallas.
Right, yeah,
and when they did that, I went to Tina and I said, it's time for us to move home.
Yep.
And here we are.
I've kind of always been a small town boy, so,
we've done a few things together. You and I sat on city council together and got some good things, positive things going.
Yeah, that was a good 6 year? I think I was on for 6 years, maybe.
Yeah, I was there.
Maybe more than that.
Two and a half terms, I think.
Right.
2 terms.
Yeah, no.
Before I moved out in the county.
Yep. Yeah, we had a good time too. Hillary was there, and we had a great council.
Liddy.
So, yeah. I don't know. I had a rough mayor or two there, but other than that, we had a great time. So
the home mortgage world has changed tremendously over the past 20 years.
Sure.
And the mortgage rates, everybody's talking about what the rates are today and how terrible they are. Well, I remember when Tina and I bought our first house, I think our interest rate was 11%.
Yeah. When I opened up in 95, they were 8 3/4. So I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided that was a good time to open up. So. But I was single and, could live off macaroni and cheese and top ramen. So.
But even at 8.25% or 8.5% or whatever it was when you opened your business, compared to a lot of things that were going on in our world, we saw, even at our ages, we saw 12 and 13 and 14% interest rates back in the Jimmy Carter days.
Yeah, I remember Jimmy, kinda, but I was riding my bicycle around town. So, but yeah, rates are. It's all relative. Where rates are today versus where they were. Even just 12 months ago. They've close to doubled, but home prices have stabilized a little more. People seem to be getting raises on their job, which is part of growth and. Trying to get the inflation picture under control. So, but we're operating a little bit different times than I think we operated when Greenspan was in, just because of supply chain issues, COVID, and what that effects had on our economy. So, there's people calling for a recession, and I'm an avid financial watcher. So, one person's calling for a recession, one's saying that our jobs are so strong and people are still getting raises that we're not going to see a deep recession, which I don't think we are either. I think we're, especially not here in Mountain Home, we've never been affected like other areas.
At what credit score can people qualify to buy a home?
Ooh, loaded question. So
you didn't think it'd be easy.
Well, we often get calls with people going, okay, hey, what's your credit score minimum? Different programs have different minimums, and they have different criteria. I tell people all the time, I may be able to get you done at a 580 credit score because of your pay history in the last 12 or 24 months, and I may not be able to get you done at a 620 because you've missed a lot of payments in the last 12 months. So it just, it's even though the systems are very systematic as far as what we can do, every borrower is a different borrower. So, if somebody's got a large down payment, I've gotten people done at 525 credit scores, but they're putting 50% down. So, just kind of really depends. So, we like to see everybody, get in, a 620 and above. If it's a benchmark, if you've got lower credit where you want to get to a 620. That's kind of a level that steps up and really helps.
There's no quick way, but what is the easiest way for people to raise the credit score that may be a little bit questioned?
Balance control really helps, meaning, credit cards, if you can keep your credit card balances down, 30% or a third is a good benchmark of your open credit. If you've got a $900 credit line, try to keep it to 300 or less. That really helps. If you've established credit and you are an authorized user at one time on like your parents' credit cards, at some juncture, you need to get off those authorized user accounts. That helps also. So balance control is one of the best ways. So
how much faith can a person put into something like Credit Karma?
It can be used as a gauge, but it's not accurate because a lot of people don't realize that like Experian and Equifax and TransUnion have multiple different scoring algorithms. So Credit Karma, when they give you a credit score, they use a condensed format. And in mortgage lending, we use a credit scoring module that looks at a broader period. So I had somebody in yesterday. They're talking to me on the phone. Their Credit Karma score was in the 500s, but they told me that they hadn't had any late payments, but just had high credit card balances. And I told them I wanted to do a soft pull on their credit, which doesn't affect them. And my score was in the 630, 640 range. Because I knew Credit Karma really hammers you really hard if you've got real high balances in your current term. So it's okay, but it is not what we use in mortgage lending at all. So it can vary. I have people come in and say they got a 680 Credit Karma score and they've got a 560. So, yeah. So it's free for a reason.
It's free for a reason. There you go.
So,
and a lot of things, they're currently owned by Intuit Credit
I
Karma?
think so. I think they are.
So a lot of the things that they're trying to do is push credit cards, and they're trying to push this program or that program.
Yeah, they're a marketing machine.
Yeah.
Get you hooked for free and, then roll you over with every offer possible. So.
Sure. A lot of times when Mr. Zadora is here and we're talking This Week in Real Estate, I always talk to him about first-time home buyers. How hard is it for a first-time home buyer in today's world to get into a home?
It really hadn't changed any. I think with rates going up, competition for homes has slowed down. So that really shut the first-time home buyer out in the last 24 months. That there were so many people moving here and so many cash offers for that $125,000 house that the first-time home buyer that was getting financing was getting shut out. If you're a seller and you got a cash offer or a finance offer and it's virtually the same money, you're going to take the quick, easy cash offer. So that has helped tremendously. I think giving them the opportunity to actually buy homes. Interest rate and their payment going up has been, the biggest negative for them, right now. They're having to stretch their budgets a little bit, But the fact of the matter is that, rents are going up too. So, you can kind of secure your future by buying a house or be at the whim of a landlord. So, and I'm a landlord.
And you are that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
and buying a home is still probably the best investment a person can make.
If you really look at, I think in my personal situation, if you look at building wealth, it really is. You got to have a place to live, but a lot of people that bought houses for $70,000 in 2018 were selling them for $160,000, $180,000. Now they had to go someplace else, but it's been incredible. As a real estate investor myself, it's been hard to swallow when I see stuff selling that I'm financing. I'm like, holy cow, I bought that house for $65,000, 4 years ago, and it just sold for $170,000.
Yeah.
So it is really a way to build wealth. More wealth's probably built in America over real estate than the majority of investments. So,
if you were talking to a newly married young couple just starting out, what would you suggest they do to help secure some of that financial stability?
Well, I have to talk to them sometimes, and it's not pushing them, but, I've had, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've had some kids in, I call them kids now, I used to be younger than everybody, but
Makes you feel better. You're
yeah,
still younger
yeah.
than me.
So I've had kids in, and the payment, they thought the payment was $40 too much a month. Just we don't want to go that high, and literally backed away from buying that house. That now and I would say you're going to make more money, right? You're upwardly mobile. Everybody should make more money if they're working, and and this house is going to be $150,000 in 10 years or whatever, or 6 years. And, if rates change exponentially, that payment goes up that much, and they just didn't buy. So, I mean, you have to, I try to tell them that, maybe you got to cut back on a little something else to make up that extra $100 you don't want to pay a month. But in the long term, it's going to be worthwhile because, I rented houses 5 years ago for $600 that are now renting for $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really saw that either. But those kids are those ones that now they're really they're really stuck. So I tell kids you need to plan for your future, plan on making more money, and sometimes you got to push yourself a little bit, to make sure that down the road you're not put in a bad position where your rent went up and you missed out on buying a house. So
yeah, what can you give up today that you can take and have back 5 or 6 years from now?
Now the flip side of it too is I do tell kids, and I'm not their parent, but I don't want to see anybody getting in financial trouble. I don't want to do a home loan to make money off a home loan and then these kids can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to tell them sometimes you are wanting to go from $600 to $1,400 a month. How are you going to do that? If you've only got $1,000 in your checking account, what's that big change that's going to help enable you to take on more debt? So
yeah, what are you willing to make?
Well, yeah, I mean,
a
lot of people will tell me, well, we'll quit eating out as much and we'll quit doing that. Well, you may do that for a month or two, and then you're right back in the same old cycle you're in. So, I do try to counsel. I mean, I want anybody that gets a home loan, whether it's from me or anybody, I want them to be successful. I don't want to see foreclosures. That's not good for anybody. So, we want kids to succeed. First-time home buyers have always been kind of a passion in my business. So, I love all my repeat customers and whatever, but, there's, if you get satisfaction out of what you do for a living, seeing kids get in their first house and be excited, one year my wife and I went and wrapped a house as a Christmas present for somebody that we closed on because they were so excited that when they were just so excited. So we snuck out to their house and literally put a bow around the whole house, for them. And that was it wasn't a promotion deal for me. It was just, super exciting that they were so excited about getting their first house.
Does it cost anything for somebody to come in and visit with you just to get an idea where they're at and what they can afford to get a pre-approval?
No, and what we've shifted to doing a lot more now is that we do soft pulls on their credit. If I have somebody sit down with me and they immediately go into they don't know where their score is or they think it's really low, so we do a soft pull on their credit. And what that enables us to do is to look at their credit and give them some guidance, but it doesn't hit their credit. So, a lot of times if you have people inquiring on your credit all the time, it makes your score drop. So it's a good way to sit down. And we want to do that. I always tell people when they come in, you work on this for 6 months, come back and see me, I'll still be here. It's not, we don't discount people that need help on working on their credit.
And you don't look down on them for it.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, they're they may not be a customer now, but hopefully they're a customer, in 6 months from now. And then if you're in business and you want to be in business for a long time, I've done generations of people now. I did the parents and the kids and the grandkids now. Holy cow. What happened?
How many locations do you have, Chris?
So we've got a location in West Plains and Mountain Home in Harrison right now. So Northwest Arkansas is kind of on our radar, but I don't know. I like the format of towns like Mountain Home. It's kind of been my niche. When everybody wants to go big in big city, I've kind of, getting into towns that are 10 or 15,000 people is, it's a quick way to build referral business too.
Yeah.
I mean, not that advertising's not great, but you can, spend yourself, you go into Fayetteville, Arkansas, and try to establish your business, it's going to cost you a fortune. And but if you do a good job and you go into West Plains, Missouri, everybody knows immediately.
Right.
If you do a bad job and you go into West Plains, Missouri, everybody knows immediately. So
It's quick.
And in West Plains, both of our offices do. I've got great staff. I mean, I don't know why they work for me.
Because you're a good guy.
Well, I don't know.
And we appreciate you being here. You've taken the place for Mr. Bob Zador, the Z Team, Century 21 LeMac Realty. Here in Mountain Home sponsors are here every week for This Week in Real Estate. And we appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next week.